Hi, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Kevin.
Welcome to Live Life Video.
So this is our first upload. I'm trying to think of vlog, post, what we're going to call this, upload for this channel. Had a couple channels before. We had a disaster channel, and then we had just a general channel. But so why are we starting this new Live Life Video channel, and what's your reasons for you?
Well, in our primary job, our day jobs, we travel around the country teaching people about grief, crisis, trauma, disaster, those kind of things. And I know that we get to encounter a lot of really incredible people, and we want to focus on things that can help them live better lives, that really can enrich their lives, help them to deal with difficult things, but also just some of the things we share really get to the core and the heart, I think, of what helps people live a more abundant life. And we wanted to be able to share that with more people than just those in our classes, so to reach a broader audience.
And I think it's frustrating for both of us a lot of times because a lot of you come up to us after class and want to talk, and there's 50, 60, 100 people plus sometimes in the class. And we get asked a lot of the same questions, and we wish we had time for everybody, but we don't. And so we wanted to address some of those questions. The other thing is, in our classes, most of them are 2-day classes, so about 14 class hours. There's a lot of stuff we can't fit in there.
Right.
And a lot of times we'll show like little snippets of a story, maybe 2-3 minutes, and people want to know the rest of the story.
Right.
And so we're going to share some more videos on here. I think the big thing for me is those stories that give people hope. Because the people that we deal with on a regular basis have had horrific traumas, have had horrific losses, and yet we find that out of these losses, though, people end up over time growing from these experiences sometimes, and showing incredible growth, So it's like, how can we encourage you? And that's why this channel exists for you, and for people that because a lot of times people are watching these channels surfing, though they may see something on depression or grief, and it's like, because they have a friend who's grieving. And so we'll post a lot of different topics that hopefully will help you live your life better.
Yeah, and I really do want to continue the dialogue. So I hope that this is a way for me to stay connected to many of the just incredible people that I do meet out there in classes or in other situations, so that we have that opportunity both to speak to them, but then we want feedback from them about things. And if they want information that maybe we have, we can provide it this way.
Yeah. And we're going to try to find a mechanism to communicate with you guys too, as far as maybe you can either like tweet questions that you have or even ask them on video to us, and we'll try to respond to some of these things. So let's talk about why reasons that we were kind of reluctant about doing a YouTube channel.
Yeah, for me, at least, I think I was very concerned about that sense of privacy that I have. And one of my concerns to you was back in many years ago when I sort of started out in my career, I was in TV news, and while I had some things I loved about it, there were some pretty negative experiences. And I have a little bit of anxiety about kind of putting myself out there, especially personally, in this day and age. So that sense of privacy is hard for me, but there's so much that I do want to share, and ways I do want to connect with people that sort of won out, that was an overriding factor. But I still, I guess, have a little bit of anxiety about that.
Yeah. I think also sometimes you see these videos and see the comments, so there's always some haters out there, people who just really say some pretty cruel things.
There's a lot of negativity.
Yeah. So, but you know what? It's like, do we not do things because of that? No.
In fact, I think it's even more reason for us to do something positive. That what we're trying to do is be a really positive voice in a sea of a lot of negativity out there. And we are certainly talking about some painful things, but we're always going to try to do it in a way that does, like you said, provide hope and encouragement. The one thing I will say about all the stories we've done so far, and there's painful stories and tragic stories, but they all have really uplifting elements, and there's a happy ending to most of our stories, meaning out of great tragedy comes great triumph as
Yeah.
well, and those are the stories that we really want to tell,
Right.
not just the bad part, but
Right.
the rest of the story being people come through this and
Yeah.
not just survive it, but thrive and
Right.
grow, and then reach out to help others.
Yeah.
So I never cease to be amazed at the incredible ways that people can grow through adversity.
Yeah, yeah. Or they can make other choices that take them down a whole different path. And I think that's interesting about some of our stories that we will be sharing is some people started out on the wrong path. You know, they turn to drugs or alcohol or just, compulsive relationships, but then they kind of get it together, and then they start another path too. So I think, it's part of it, learning from successes, but also some people sharing their failures as well. I think the one story I was thinking about, all the people who we've dealt with over the years and kind of who impacted me the most to really want to do this. And it was the story with Camille.
Yeah.
And so she's a young gal still in high school, and she has alopecia, is what it's called, where she lost her hair even more than me. So, but she's a beautiful girl, and we met her at a suicide conference. And for me, I think when I really started really feeling impressed to do this is when we were writing the Understanding Suicide curriculum and teaching that there's so many people who, when they are going through some tough stuff, who really lose hope in life. They've had either major losses or they've had, those traumatic things in their life. They just have lost hope. And it's one thing she said in her talk, when I interviewed her later, people were bullying her, in school, but also on the internet. And I was at that point, I remember I was like in this real anti internet thing, and everything needs to go away. YouTube needs to go away, all that stuff. But she actually said, the social media saved me because she said what we need to do is recapture that and bring a positive message in that darkness, to counter that.
The internet's just a tool. It can be used for evil, but it can be used for good.
Yeah. And so with this channel specifically is we wanted to bring hope and to bring help and just to share stuff that engage with people on interesting things about life. And I know you and I have very different interests. So, we're madly in love and we do a lot of stuff together and share a lot of things together, like food and exercise. But even the way we exercise and other things that we do, we have very interests. So I'm not going to do makeup vlogs like you are, right? Because that's your thing and you like doing that.
My passions, other than my work and my wonderful husband, are sort of beauty and fashion stuff that is really just a hobby, and I do it because I love it. But I have lots of girlfriends, and sometimes they want me to share things, whether it's products or tips or things with them, and this is a good way to do that. And then the other passion I have is for animals. And so you may occasionally see some of our furry-faced family members on camera.
If they sneak through the door, they'll be climbing up here.
I actually probably, in terms of watching videos on YouTube, I mostly watch animal videos on YouTube. But they will probably be stealing the show occasionally. But also the things that I do in terms of rescue and things like that, things I'm passionate about. I may occasionally do videos on those things as well.
I know, but your lady friends really turn to you a lot to help them with makeup and feeling better about themselves a lot of times after they've gone through a divorce or whatever. So I think the stuff I have a broad interest. If you look at this room here, our studio, it's wall-to-wall stuff with the cameras and music.
You love technology.
I love technology stuff, but I also I love the disaster world. So we got these big Polaris units at work, and so we'll do some demo stuff. But I think here's our desire for you is that you can engage with life and that you can seize life and you can live life to the fullest, even after loss. And I know for some of you right now, you may be going through something very dark, or you have a friend who's going through something very dark and it seems hopeless. So we want to walk with you and encourage you through that, but also help you to step outside that darkness and to be engaged with life. Maybe it's going places or, trying a hobby or getting a cat or something. So anyway, thanks for allowing us to come into your world, and hope to see you at a training or somewhere at some point. But if not, we will be here probably weekly, maybe.
We're not going to make any promises yet. Maybe more often, maybe less often.
We are definitely not going to be daily vloggers. I don't even like the term vlogger.
We have busy lives.
Yeah, and we travel a lot, so you'll see us when you see us. But my goal is to try to produce something about every other week. So maybe more, probably less. But So, anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, make a great life, and we will see you soon.